Well, I was raised in the church, was born a member to the church. I absolutely loved going to church as a family. I have very fond memories of being together as a family, activities that we did together. Well, I remember being baptized at 8, and I remember very strongly the feelings that I felt, how I felt the church. I wanted to be a member of the church, and I still remember fasting. I wanted to fast for 24 hours when I was 8. So I did. I fasted, and I remember I about passed out in sacrament meeting. But to me, it was very important that I fasted before they confirmed me with the Holy Ghost. I loved Young Women's. I loved girls' camp. I loved the sports that we played. There were 15 girls that were in my Beehive class. So we had quite a group that all went together and graduated together, and they're still good friends. I don't really stay in touch with them, but whenever I see them, I always have very fond memories of them. I also remember very strongly at the age, I read the prophets' books when I was very young. By the time I was 14, I had read most of the autobiographies of the prophets. I was reading Ezra Taft Benson's biography, and that was when I felt a very strong feeling come over me that I would serve a mission. And I wrote it in my journal. I wrote my journal very faithfully, and I can look back on it and have the day exactly when I determined that I would be a missionary, and that was when I was 14. So, and I did serve a mission, and I wanted to. I knew I would. I always served, of course, in our Young Women's Callings, and Beehive, My Maid, Laurel. I was always in one of the presidencies in Young Women, so I always loved that. And I think that was a basis and cornerstone for the leadership positions that came later in life. And at BYU, I was the Relief Society president, visiting teaching coordinator, of course a visiting teacher, which I always felt was a very important calling. I was the choir director, which didn't last long. But yeah, I had a lot of callings. I think I loved my time at BYU and the wards that we were in, and I was the young women's leader after college when I was very active in the church. I worked for the church education system. I worked for youth and family programs, and that was especially for youth, Girls Academy, Boys World of Adventure, and then I did that for about 8 years. I also taught part-time as an adjunct professor, teaching American Sign Language.
At BYU?
Yeah, and that was after I served my mission, because I also taught at the MTC. I taught missionaries that were training to become American Sign Language missionaries.
So your life was pretty tightly wound with the church.
Definitely. Everything. It was everything. I loved the church.